welcome to Simply Sassos podcast. My name's Rob Sassos. I'm the broker and president of Simplicity, a real estate brokerage company, and the JBR Management Group, a property management company. In this episode, I am here with Tony Tate, and we're going to talk about real estate investment trusts, also known as REITs, and how they relate to Bitcoin. Tony, good to see you again.
Hey, good for having me back, Robert. I appreciate it, man. Good to be here. Good to be here.
So, for the audience that doesn't know you already, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, sure, man. I appreciate it. Well, like you said, I'm Tony Tate. I own Currency Cadets, which is basically we're educational consultants. We don't sell cryptocurrency. We don't sell Bitcoin. What we do is we educate people. We teach them the process on how to do that and how it pertains to them, and no matter what their industry is. So this way, they're avoiding the pitfalls, because there's a lot of bad actors out there in this space, man, that are scams or Ponzi's or whatever. You don't really need any of that. You just kind of need to have a trusted person to kind of walk you through it. And, we teach them how to do that. So we do that. One of our favorite industries is real estate, but we also work with faith-based organizations as well. Just a lot of fun, man, in this emergent technology and asset class.
Okay. So you gave me a call, said you had some great information on REITs and how it relates to Bitcoin.
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about that.
So a lot of times, depending on the transaction and what someone is doing from a real estate function, especially when you start dealing with things of a commercial basis, whether it's corporate because you're just simply doing a residential deal, or whether it is an actual corporate, a commercial situation. Real estate investment trusts have been catching the eye of a lot of people in the cryptocurrency industry, because it's a way for them to kind of maybe price protect, the little bit of volatility that there is in cryptocurrency, because we know that land never depreciates. Right. They're not making any more of that, right? So when you can take your cryptocurrency and you can invest in a real estate investment trust and have shares of, of said trust, and it's generating you money every single month, whatever that's US dollars, they can take their winnings, winnings as if it was a gamble, but I like to say winnings because in life you win whenever you make a profit, right? So just for clarification purposes for those out there who are listening, but they can take their earnings or their profit and they can reinvest that into crypto, or they can continue to diversify that into any other vehicle they want, or they can just put it in their pocket. Either way is income, or just kind of reinvesting it. So cryptocurrency has made that very, very easy for people to be able to invest in these situations, whether it's a vacation rental home or it's just a regular property somebody wants to turn into a corporation.
Okay. So for the layman out there, Can you explain real estate investment trust?
Sure. Basically, a real estate investment trust is basically where someone decides that they want to buy a whole bunch of property and they want to have it under a trust, and where that trust is the owner of said property. Now, that property can be turned into a corporation, and you can sell shares of that corporation, but then it's not owned by any one individual. It's owned by a group or someone that wants to own it in that particular fashion. So it's not protected under the wonderful homesteading laws that we have here in Florida, which I think are the best in the nation, in my opinion. But it is something that makes it very attractive for people who maybe have an issue with the barrier of entry into just like buying property outright, to just go ahead and do a lot of stuff. Now they can be a part of a trust, and they can, they can assimilate and enjoy maybe smaller gains until they can, play into a bigger role for stuff they want to do themselves independently.
Okay. So what would be, and again, I'm just breaking this down as basic as possible. Okay. So what would be the advantage, again, of the Bitcoin investing in the REIT versus cash?
Okay. Great question. Number one, I'm going to put on my global economic opinion, and I'm going to say here the views and opinions expressed by me does not necessarily reflect that of anyone else. These are just mine, and I have reasons why I believe what I believe, because even though my mama didn't raise no fool, there are things that you just cannot ignore. So for me, I look at the volatility of the U.S. dollar. I look at the tariffs. I look at all of the different things that are going on in the world, the global market, if you want to, I look at different indices. And so when you have a situation where, let's say there's an international buyer, right? Guy in Germany, right? It's one of the 33 countries that are pretty good countries, right? That we'll accept a wire from, He wants to participate. He doesn't have to worry about the time delay in having to wire international funds to a title company over here, to be put into escrow, to be part of whatever, right? He doesn't have to do that. It makes the capital raise very, very easy because it's simply getting that information, getting that cryptocurrency wallet address, or what we call a cryptocurrency account address, and sending that money. They'll have it in a couple of seconds. It makes the vetting process a lot quicker because, again, you're not dealing with all of the stuff that you do with international wires. So now more people can participate because cryptocurrency is global. Germany, you obviously want to stay away from certain countries that are on the no-no list. Right. But there's about 33 that I can think of. Greece, one. As a matter of fact, I have a gentleman, just a little rabbit hole here, and I'll finish the explanation. Have a gentleman who's a client of mine who is from Greece. Greece just raised their capital controls. They have a new prime minister now. So now all of my clients and all of my connections that I have through this gentleman that are in Greece is great because now they can use more than $2,000 in a month on their debit card. They can actually wire money out of the country, because what some of those folks were having to do when they wanted to invest in cryptocurrency is they had to figure out a way to get crypto on their own. So back to the explanation. One advantage is it makes it easier for international buyers to participate in real estate investment trusts because the capital raise is a lot quicker, a lot faster, number one. Two, it's liquidity. It's basically cash, right? So it's not like you have to get any kind of approved financing and you're having to carry some kind of a note or any kind of a bridge, from one situation to another. It's basically treated just as cash. And another advantage is because, like any other asset, except for real estate, the price of real estate, the price of land always goes up. Cryptocurrency, the US dollar, Amazon stock, you name it, those things fluctuate. There's some volatility. They go up, they go down. But if they want to put it in a vehicle that may be a slower return on their investment, but solid nonetheless, that goes up, that's another reason. So those are the two big reasons. For international buyer, that's one big advantage. And also diversifying the same amount of money, because if nothing feels great when you had a really big gain in the cryptocurrency market as far as the market capitalization is concerned, and then you take that win or profit and then you reinvest it into a vehicle that does not ever depreciate.
Okay. So if you're starting a REIT, the ease of use in terms of creating it, in terms of going globally, you're removing a tremendous amount of hurdles should you go the route of cash or currency. Correct. And when I say currency, I essentially mean cash. Yeah. From a buying standpoint, ease of use to get involved.
Correct.
Reduced fees.
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Right. And in all honesty, reduced regulations in terms of the fees.
Exactly.
So that leads me to this question. So we have people interested. And okay, well, that sounds good, Tony. Where the heck do I start? So do I start with researching REITs? Do I start with, I was just invested in my 401k mutual fund, right, and someone told me about an S&P 500 and in blue chip. That's all I know. Right. So what's the best way to get myself educated?
Well, first thing is research. Number one, I always say this when it comes to any kind of investment. All investments are a risk, whether that's an investment of your time in a relationship or whether that is investment in your money in any kind of a transaction that's supposed to return you dividends. In relationships, we like to get love returned for the investment of our time, right? So the first thing to do is to research. You always want to research. Do your own research. And I don't just, and make sure that the websites that you're researching for what you want to do are actual websites and not, I don't like to use the term mommy blogs because it seems like that's a derogative term, but that's just, I didn't come up with that term, but basically that's just some wackadoodle that just put up a website with a really good graphic designer, right? That you want to go to a website called whois.com to see who actually owns that website and make sure that the information that you're getting is good information. That's the first thing. The second thing is you want to determine your level of risk, right? You want to see, okay, I've got this over here. What's it going to cost me? And then depending on where your 401k or wherever your investment are, what is your penalty going to be? You have to look at, okay, if I'm going to get hit with a 10% or a 20%, even though I'm investing in real estate, sometimes they forgive that or a hardship or whatever. There's still going to be that other 10% taxes that the IRS is going to have if that money hits my checking account. How can I do that? So so you want to move that money, or you want to take that investment and have it as a wire or whatever, and it's you have your opportunity to actually participate in whether the individual who's raising the money, the capital raise, that they've already filed for their 506c. They've already filed for their Reg CF, so they can crowdfund. This is a big deal because you have the protection, even though cryptocurrency is an industry that is, with Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're not securities as per SEC. An investment vehicle is. So if anytime U.S. dollars are used, whether that's anything, you're going to have to worry about that. So with cryptocurrency, it's not so much you have to worry about the regulation from you as an individual, but you want to make sure that that where you're buying into, that the property, that's still real property, that's still governed by the state laws and local municipalities and taxing. You want to make sure that what you're buying is not marshland property in the Keys. So you want to make sure that you've done your research from the individuals, the companies that are doing the raise, because once that crypto is gone, it's gone. There is no FDIC or NCUA or SEC or FTC or CFTC, any of the alphabet gang. None of those folks are going to come and save you if you make a ill-advised investment in something. But if you do your homework and you make sure that everything is done right, the individual that you're buying the property from or who's coming to you that wants you to participate in their capital raise, you're golden. And this is really big in a lot of vacation rentals or down south where people are buying these resort-style homes and they're just turning them into VRBO or Airbnb.
Mm-hmm. And we are in the middle of vacation, the vacation nation, I guess.
Yeah. Snowbirds are on their way in about a month or two.
Exactly. So for those listening, with every reward, you have risk. That's just the nature of the beast. So this is all a front-end loaded situation. So this is not a blue pill.
Correct.
This is not instant success. This is not the drive-through at the fast food line. What this is allowing you or me, the middle-class person, to do is take advantage of avenues that may not have been there before because of the availability of it.
Correct.
What you need to do is educate yourself. You can go online. Actually, also, I think there's still some around, but there's these things called books. If you want, you can actually buy a book and research it, but you have to do your research. It's all front-end loaded. So there's no instant reward. Even with mutual funds and stocks, you have your risk.
Correct.
With this situation, it's the same thing, but you have to educate yourself. Now, what I'm a firm believer in is working smarter, not harder. So I always try to be the dumbest person in the room and seek out one of the smartest. So if let's just say I don't know anything about it. Okay, I have my 401k and I want to search out someone to help me with, I'm interested in REITs and I'm interested in Bitcoin. Who do I speak to?
Well, first of all, for the Bitcoin thing, I definitely want them to speak to me. Or someone like myself who is a professional. I hate using the word crypto guru because I think it's some guy in the 70s with a big dashiki on and a big, curly fro and, and make love not war thing when I think of the word guru. But you definitely want to speak to someone who is a competent professional, man, in this industry that you can track and make sure, you can verify, right? That has verifiable accolades. Then you want to, from the real estate side, you want to seek out a real estate professional that can help someone find this, someone like yourself, or that have colleagues in the industry that say, hey, you know what, there's going to be there's a few different ways that people can do that. I don't think there's a realestateinvestmenttrust.com site out there where people are just kind of making this stuff public like that. But you want to get connected to somebody that knows about real estate investments, from the investor side of the house. So you definitely want to get with an investor-minded realtor. absolutely.
Okay. And to toot my own horn, in my experience, I've dealt with several institutional investors who, when we had the market dip, took complete advantage of that market by opening REITs and opening that with single-family homes and townhome situations. So what this is allowing you is you don't have to be that upper echelon 1%er that has all the know that you don't have access to. Now you essentially have the key to access those same type of investments through Bitcoin, through this crowdfunding, and you can get involved that way. So REITs are very powerful investment products. I strongly recommend them when you have a good one. But again, you need to research who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with and where it is. All front end loaded. If you do all that, you're going to give yourself a very, very good chance of the profit expectations that you have. Better than you just saying, sure, here's $10,000, put it on black.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Scared money don't make money.
That's right. So a lot of information there. Where can they go to get more information on Bitcoin and even speaking to you personally?
Sure. If they're near any internet browser, hopefully they're using a secure connection and not a public Wi-Fi. I thought a horror story I just seen on Dateline. They can go to currencycadet.com/FAQs, and they can just see a few FAQs that are there. That we kind of answer some of the basics. Now, if there's someone if they're more social minded, if they want to connect with us, either our Facebook group, Currency Cadets, or our Facebook page, Currency Cadets, by the same name, feel free to give us a like or a follow, and we'll get them added. Just got to answer a few questions for the group part of it. But, there's no fee to be in the group, just to kind of be a fly on the wall to soak up some information. And, of course, we're on Instagram, and I'd be remiss if I left out my own cryptocurrency real estate professional Facebook page, which is called Cryptony. They can connect with me there too. So those are some of the easy places. I think those are good places to start, and we can get the conversation going.
Awesome. And you can also go to .com for your real estate needs. I'll be happy to help you there. You can also email me at rob@simplicityre.com. Tony, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, brother.
That ends this episode of Simply Sassos. Please check us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the wonderful social media. And until next time, we'll see you later.